This is your May 2022 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, my readings are general, but we will give you some key dates and messages that will hopefully empower you as you make your way through the next few weeks. This is Romy. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to my channel. So we are into Taurus season, and we're going to open up this reading for May with the energy of the Five of Pentacles. I do think there is a little bit of a wake-up call for you this month, and it's all going to be centered around the need for you to preserve your energy. I think there's going to be a little bit of frustration in terms of how somebody or more than one person decides to move forward on something that I feel is, I don't know, it's almost like there was already an agreement in place and then somebody either reneges or, chooses to kind of ignore something and forge ahead. So I have a little bit of frustration energy that comes out, maybe even a bit of disappointment that kind of might throw you a little bit off balance, give you a little bit of a wobble, and sort of make that sensation of scarcity or lack come right front and center stage. So what happens when we have that sort of shock to the nervous system, that wake-up call, that kind of clear indication of where true loyalties lie, or actually, where you thought you were a little bit more secure in a particular position, relationship, than you turn out to be, there is this reminder that you're always going to make the best decisions for you, and it's not something that you at this time should be outsourcing. And perhaps in the review of sort of what's unfolded or what led to this point, you're maybe going to come to the realization that in actual fact you gave a little bit too much of your power away, or your position in some respect. And so what we see taking place is this opportunity for you to get out of your own way a little bit, definitely really learning from that mistake, drawing a line under it, and then something incredibly positive that emerges as a result of it. What you will definitely say to yourself, I think, in this instance, is not everything is worth fixing, and sometimes it is better to just draw a line, find a sense of acceptance, and to move on from it, because there's so much taking place this month that we want you to feel super excited about. Venus is shifting into fellow fire sign Aries on the 2nd of the month, and it is going to bring in this real level of assertiveness and a little bit of passion and sort of fiery, free-spiritedness. I think you'll be more direct, if that's possible, than ever, in terms of what you have to say and how you feel about certain things. And again, perhaps with what we saw taking place with some of that wake-up call and thinking about where your energy has been going, you're also going to feel that sort of frustration, but be able to channel it in a really kind of constructive way. Now, we also have some really positive, auspicious astrological aspects in that first week in May, so pay attention. On the 3rd, we have Jupiter sextile Pluto, and on the 5th, Sun is conjunct to Uranus, happening once a year. Now, these are real positive breakthrough energies. You're coming off the back of the solar eclipse, and, depending on how that's hitting in on your own personal chart, it's either going to feel like a little electrical shock or, quite a seismic kind of earthquake. But Page of Swords is coming through here and indicating the need for communication. Now, that might be thwarted slightly because we also have a Mercury retrograde happening this month. It's in the sign of Gemini, and it will happen from the 10th, but you'll be feeling the shadow of that right from the beginning. Now, what I will say is that the Page of Swords is able to kind of take stock and evaluate what has taken place, come at it with an open mind, really learn from the experience. And I think that's incredibly important for you. The learning is not about being harsh or judgmental towards yourself or even others. It's actually just about saying, okay, where have I gotten in my own way here? Remember, you, Sagittarius, control the amount of effort that you put into any given situation. And when you know you've done enough and you're being honest and accountable for that, that should influence what the final result is. What do I mean by that? Well, if the result is not what you'd expected or anticipated, you still get to celebrate if during the process, on the journey, everything that was gained and learned and invested, was still something to be proud of, and it needs to be given credit to yourself. And you know what? Even the outcome doesn't feel like it's about to be as perhaps is sort of negative or not working in the way you'd expected, I think this is one of these months when, you know, as soon as you accept something, it goes ahead and just does like a 360 flip anyway. So even out of that situation where we are feeling like there's a sense of lack or there's been some sort of disappointment or setback, we come into a sense of kind of alignment with it, we learn from it, and there we go. All of a sudden it comes back around for us. So really pay attention to how that's going to be influencing you. Remember, Taurus season is about 6th house energy, which is not only your health and well-being, it's the way that you show up in the day-to-day. It's those small rituals. It's how consistent and committed you are. It's about really recognizing this version of you that you're in right now, this cycle that's happening instantaneously, moment to moment. And the more presence you can find, celebration of that, it makes it easier, because how you're then bringing in what happens next, future, step by step, moment by moment, is so much more to your advantage. Now, the Six of Pentacles does suggest that the energy balance is about to be readdressed, okay? But it does require negotiation, does require communication, and for you actually to speak up, perhaps also to put your hand on your heart and say, well, you know, maybe there are things I could have done different, or, you know, here's where I would like to have, you know, perhaps brought something else to the table, but at the same time giving other people the chance to say what they think or how they feel. That's very important. If you don't give airtime or you block, you're going to miss out on an opportunity for kind of karmic closure, and perhaps for just releasing something, and the result of that is it ends up becoming like a really obsessive kind of piece of energy that gets stuck in your energy field, you know, so that you keep going over and being angry and annoyed and frustrated and thinking about what they're doing and why they did it and how they wronged you. And we don't want that for you. There's too much going on. There's too much to kind of focus and direct your energy towards in this month. And so just taking the time to have a conversation, even if there's a little bit of lost in translation happening with that retrograde. Of course, it does bring things back from the past as well as people from the past. And that can also, with some inner reflection, give you an opportunity to find some forgiveness, or just acceptance, to be able to draw that line. I think that's really important. You may also receive a really significant piece of additional information that helps bring things together in a new way for you. And that actually feels quite inspiring. So it comes from a really unlikely source. You know, the person who ends up giving you what could be a good idea or a solution or a way forward could be the very person that you're really annoyed at, or has really, you know, done something that kind of riled you or upheavaled you in some way. Everybody has their role to play, and these karmic energies of the eclipse season are always about what we're learning. You know, there's big hellos, there's sudden goodbyes, but the kind of shake up of this is helping to build resiliency for you. And here we've got the Queen of Pentacles, which I love the emergence of in your reading as we look at this 6th house energy and how you want to show up in the world to be of service. It tells me that you are, first of all, recovering very quickly from anything that feels like a setback, however that hits you personally in your life. You're also showing me to be incredibly resourceful, capable, flexible, and actually in a really abundant kind of energy if you give yourself permission to step into that. This is why I'm saying you need to get out of your own way. If you don't feel worthy of it, you're not going to be able to manifest it. So we need to pay close attention to what's happening in the body. And as we come out of all of that Piscean energy and sink back into the beautiful earthly bull Taurian physicality, then this is about what do we make real, what is tangible, what can I kind of touch and feel in my hands right now. And I think that's also about you building some confidence that actually, you know, everything that I have been working towards, what is important to me, what I do want in my life, you know, it's got merit, it's got legs here. There's something for me to work with in spite of what may have been, you know, presented by other people. I think this is one of these months where, you know, some things are hard before they get easy. And, you know, what is it that makes you truly indestructible in those moments where the waves feel like they keep pounding you? Well, it's about having radical self-respect in the moment, radical self-love, to be the best cheerleader, to be the one that says, you know what, like nothing and no one can take away from me my personal power. And this influence of the big lunar eclipse in Scorpio is really emphasizing that. Now it's coming in on the 15th at 25 degrees, We do have some positive aspects with Pluto, Mars, Neptune, meaning that we're very inspired to act decisively. So the release, the letting go that takes place, also the revelations and what we do with them, are being driven from a spiritual place. You know, we're acting in faith, and I feel like the reinvention and the rebirth energy of Scorpio is going to be really significant for you. Now, you've got Ten of Cups right at the center of your reading, really beautiful. There may be very significant things going on close to home within the family environment, even with children coming in there with the Page of Swords as well. So perhaps some of these dynamics that are playing out are influencing heavily in that direction for you. Remember, regardless of what other people are choosing to avoid or neglect or disown within themselves, it doesn't give you permission to do the same. If you're feeling the call and you're having a continual urgency to keep pushing forward, to keep striving, to keep working on yourself for yourself, you know, don't get caught up in that energy of others, because your emotional contentment, that stability, the things that mean the most to you, that really you kind of frame your life around. It's just like, here's the values that I stand by. Here are the things that, you know, that make up and shape my world and how I want it to be, what gives me joy and makes me happy. You know, you're being orientated towards bringing in a better balance and a reshuffle of all of your prioritization around this kind of a thing. And honestly, I feel like you're really unstoppable this month. And what you need to understand is that there are many layers of energy that are going on in any given moment. And it's real easy to sort of, you know, step into that kind of Five of Pentacles and sort of feel like there's nothing here. There's nothing worth saving. There's nothing worth fighting for. There's nothing worth anything, and yet it's simply untrue. You know, the kind of the sub layer, the next one down, is revealing all of that kind of vibrancy, that brightness, that resiliency, and actually just showing you that kind of when you allow that shedding to take place, which that lunar eclipse is really going to do. So I think coming into that mid-month for you, what we're going to do is we're going to have a huge kind of turning point for Sagittarius, and just sort of putting things back into context for yourself, kind of regrouping, drawing a line, and just getting back on the most important sort of narrative about why am I doing this, why is it important. And then when that happens, you kind of like lock it in, something locks in, and I feel like at that point it's okay, nothing's going to stop me. And yes, that doesn't mean we're not going to come up against some more challenges, but I do think there's a new level of determination that's coming through, quite gritty. And honestly, by the end of the year, you're going to be in such a different position. Like, I think it might blow your mind a little bit, actually, in terms of how life is about to start to unfold and redirect you in certain instances. Now, Queen of Wands is coming in. I love the fire for you. The other big thing that's taking place this month, of course, is that Jupiter's shifting into fire sign Aries. That's going to happen on the 10th of the month, coming out of Pisces. Jupiter in Aries is very driven, independent. There's this desire, this impulsiveness. And for you, it's in your 5th house, right? So that's illuminating desire, creativity, what you bring life and form to. Now, this is really auspicious because you'll get a heads up and a bit of a preview as how Jupiter's going to be working with you in 2023. But also, you know, remember Jupiter, when it focuses its gaze, it expands, you know, there's this, and it's also, of course, your natural ruler planet. So we have this change into the fire energy, which is going to be even more comfortable, even though Jupiter in Pisces is very auspicious for us, and it will dip back into that sign, by the way, at the end of the year. So you'll have an opportunity to review what was gained and learned through that. But your Queen of Wands here again is showing me this power of manifesting, this ability to sort of bring warmth and energy to something. And that matters, okay? Because where you feel something has gone cold, that may be a relationship, it may be a project, it may be something that you're trying to move forward and you feel like it's kind of ground to a halt or got a little bit stuck. Sometimes the retrograde seasons sort of bring in those temporary delays to things. But there's no reason why behind the scenes you can't keep pouring that passion, that energy, that focus, because it's what you do in the day-to-day, in those small moments that kind of you feel like, oh, there's no point, or I'll just give myself another, few days to do that. It's just like you can get more done in those 10 minutes, even if it's just about how you're thinking and shifting and clearing your energy in relation to it, okay? It makes a huge impact on things. So honestly, don't underestimate some of those small, consistent ways that you're going to be showing up this month, okay? So we also have Mars moving into Aries, all of these personal planets kind of making their way. On that will happen on the 24th, okay? So remember, Mars sort of enacts that hero instinct within us, and it's very comfortable and happy to be in the sign of Aries. So everything gets into overdrive, but then we've got the retrograde that's sort of getting in the way a little bit. And we've got this energy of still the kind of shedding from the lunar eclipse. So it might feel a bit chaotic. And here you have Five of Wands. So the conflict might be playing out both within you and around you. You might feel like you're kind of caught up in a bit of uncomfortable drama or being pitted against somebody. I have this uncomfortable feeling that it's not by choice, but somebody, maybe it's within a work environment or maybe it's friendships, but I feel like you're literally being compared or invited to sort of prove yourself in comparison to someone else. You don't need to prove yourself against anybody, and this is why I'm saying, like, you are the one that knows what's best for you. Don't outsource that. And if you feel like that's what's happening, or someone's trying to draw you into that kind of a manipulative game, it's just like a hard no is kind of what I feel. It has to be. So the asteroid goddess energies are also shifting this month. Ceres is going to be moving into Cancer on the same day as that lunar eclipse. And of course, in Cancer, we get to have the nourishment. We really are reconnecting to our roots and thinking about how we want to bond. Now, that Five of Wands, again, is showing me, I sort of look at the bird here and I see you sort of stepped to the side, maybe even feeling a little bit out of things. Even if the chaos is not attractive to you, there's still something about, with that Five of Pentacles as well, you're still feeling a little bit on the outskirts and sort of observing and maybe kind of wishing and longing to be a part of something. There might be shifts and changes that have taken place within communities, a family or a friendship group specifically. And there's something to learn through this experience, mostly about the way you are now using that to kind of sort of specifically create a narrative or a story to yourself about who you are, your worth, or your impact and presence, because I think there's something there that we need to kind of stop straight away before it beds in and starts to erode on your confidence or plant some unnecessary doubts that we don't need to be worrying about, okay? Sometimes the fives, though, are relevant because what they do is they kind of create contrast for us, and they give us situations that we feel challenged by. And certainly in eclipse energy, we're always challenged in some regard, but we come out fighting. And here you are, you're kind of like submerged in the water, but that arm is, kind of piercing through the surface. Sword of truth, clarity coming, a fresh beginning, because you've been able to kind of decipher and discern what truly matters, what's important. And again, this aspect of communication, it's cutting right through the heart of what truly matters to me. What do I stand by? What is it that I need in order to facilitate the experiences that are going to keep adding to this for me? So I think you're getting really honest with yourself, and in the process getting honest with others. And I think that's going to give you a lot of really sort of sustainable shifts and changes in some of the important relationships in your life, and you're going to feel the kind of impact of that. Almost it's like overnight. So you might be sat on the fence and thinking, oh, I can't say that I can't say that to them, it's not the right time. There may be that blurting out energy that happens. Scorpio will go to the taboo, it will go to those uncomfortable places. But once you've said it, once it's out there, you might be pleasantly surprised at the response that you get is what's coming through, okay? Now, as we make our way deeper into the month, Sun in Gemini from the 20th, and then we also work our way to a new moon in the sign right on the 30th. What we have here is you feeling a little bit overstimulated is probably what I want to say with all that Gemini energy. Of course, it's coming into your 7th house, so there's a strong focus on your network, on what's happening in those close relationships in your life. The challenge that's coming at you is only serving to strengthen your resiliency, hone your spiritual muscle, if you like. Not only are you more than capable and shown to have a victorious outcome in relation to this, but also in the process, you're going to learn something incredibly important about yourself in that last few days of May, okay? Because there's something about how you handle it, how it arrives. It feels like there's a bit of an obscure kind of way that something ends up unraveling. And, you know, this is a month where I feel like you have a priority to create a stop doing list more than you have a to-do list, because that's going to make a huge difference on where you're actually spending your energy. You're fighting all of these sort of people that are trying to come up and infiltrate your experience, and part of me just wants to say, do they even matter? Like, are these people even relevant? Do you want to preserve your energy and use that sort of that fight and that charge in a direction that's actually going to advance you? Yeah, because if you get so frustrated and sort of, it's like in fighting them, you're becoming a part of their energy field. I kind of don't want that for you, because I feel like then you're just dragged into somebody else's like real low vibe, and that's not worth it. So there is a bit of challenge and conflict that's emerging here. But the changes that it brings about in you and how you come to draw a line and what you feel in terms of this flexing up of your life, of your motivation, of where you're heading, this is all really important, because if we use the energy of the Queen of Pentacles here, you know, you are going to be busy, and you don't want to be kind of busy doing the wrong things and looking back and think, well, that was a waste of time. Yeah, that's not what we want for you. So this is the general spread. Let's take a look and see how some of these oracle cards just want to clarify this conversation. All the decks I use are in the description box underneath, by the way, Sagittarius, if that's of interest for you, okay? There's always that kind of showdown energy that happens during eclipse season as well, you know? Okay, we have the Holy Grail. Stop the endless searching, inner quest. Well, the self-reflection of retrograde season is always important. Of course, Pluto turned retrograde at the end of April. This deconstruction that's taking place in your life is very important. We have the deer showing up for you to remember to trust yourself and where you're feeling guided. You need to have that bigger picture. That bird is coming through as a powerful messenger. His wings are out, and it just shows me that you are ready to take off, you're ready to initiate something new. All of this passion energy with the rose kind of bursting out of your sacral chakra, highly creative time. I think this Jupiter in Aries is going to be really exciting in terms of some of the things that you are able to magnetize and manifest into your world over the period of time. Okay, let's have a look at the Moonology cards for you. I suppose it is this reminder of making sure that you're sort of directing your energy in the right way, you know. The endless searching can sometimes come about because we're just looking in the wrong places. Okay, you have the last quarter moon in Cancer. Take a breather. Take a breather, Sag. Okay, what does that look like for you? What do you need to step back from? Remember, the 6th house energy in Taurus is also about health, so you might be getting some things flagged up to you. They might be coming in as like early shots across the bow, you know, things that you're noticing like, oh, that doesn't feel quite right, or, you know, that's something I really need to look at or get in check. Pay attention. Small adjustments to your routine are going to make all the difference. You know, remember, Cancer has this incredible ability to sort of just retreat into its shell for that self-protective, self-nurturing, self-soothing. That's what you need to be doing in May, making sure that you have some time carved out for that, okay? Right, let's have a look and see what colour card wants to come up for you. We also have Vesta, the asteroid goddess, moving into Pisces on the 24th. Remember, she takes care of that inner flame, and there's a lot of spiritual sustenance that gets highlighted to us when she's moving in Pisces. We just need to make sure we're not overly sacrificing or moving into that kind of savior mode when we are working with her in Piscean energy. Okay, you have Sapphire, regenerate your body. Just another nod here about what it is that you need to take care of. A reminder as well that Sapphire links in strongly with the energy of Virgo. It helps us to really organize things, get our mind in order, get lists, and not to overspend, overstretch, overcompensate for anything. So if you're looking to sort of really work on your boundaries, it's a wonderful colour to kind of pull in and draw in. It's that rich vibrancy. And there's a loyalty here that I feel is emerging, and that's about you being loyal to yourself, loyal to the things that matter to you, loyal to the ways that you feel guided to make important decisions. You know, as we come into Gemini season, a lot of things are mirrored to you. It's what we disown within the self and we see reflected back in others. So always lots of challenges, but also opportunities for healing and growth to evolve those conscious connections in your life. And I love that for you, because I think there's something incredibly compassionate and actually quite impressive in terms of how you handle something in some of those close personal relationships, okay? So, just a reminder, I have my own Oracle deck, Life Soul Vision, which is now available for pre-order. If you hold on to the end of this video, you will see a additional screen grab where you can see the full deck, and you can just click and do a screen grab and get an additional bonus message for this month. And I can't wait to start using that with you. If you're interested, you can find the link for the pre-ordering in the description box. So what we're going to do now is invite you to think about a personal question that may not have come up in this main reading. Going to go ahead and pull you a couple of personal cards for that one, and we will cover it off in the extended reading, which you can find in the description box underneath. It's a way to support my work so I can continue to do free readings, and also for you to get another 20-25 minutes of insights to the month ahead. So we are going to clarify this main reading, starting with the Five of Pentacles. What do we want to see? Six of Wands, okay, and the Fool. And another Queen of Wands here. Interesting. Page of Swords bringing in another Five of Pentacles. Very connected. Nine of Wands. Something's running low, Sagittarius. What is it? Your patience? Your energy? Your bank balance? Something is running low, and we need to address it this month. And if you do, I feel like it does quickly turn around, but it does require an adjustment. Okay, we've got King of Swords coming in, Eight of Pentacles. Two of Wands. Nice. King of Wands, I like that for you. Oh, that's auspicious. Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. Mind you, lots of family stuff throwing up here. And an Ace of Swords again. The Sun. That's the first time that's come out for the whole of May's soul stories so far, Sag. So that's nice to see. Okay. Devil of Five of Swords. Yeah, I really don't want to be getting caught up in this drama. Might be work connected for some of you. The World. Death Star, beautiful. Knight of Cups. Five of Cups. Okay, Sagittarius, I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you tune in at the end of the video for your grab a card. I also look forward to continuing this conversation if you're joining me for the extended. But otherwise, you have a great month ahead. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, drop me a comment. It really helps to support my work, and it's a great way to support me. Thank you so much.